So again, the facilitators are Doug Ritchie, that's me, and Michael Williams, who's working behind the scenes and taking your questions. We also have our project manager, Heather Stubbs, in the room for any additional questions that you might have.
I hear it now.
Please be sure and ask questions at any time. And you can do that with the question box or the chat box, or you can raise your hand and we can unmute you so you can ask questions over the phone. But again, just want to reiterate, please feel free to ask questions, any question at any time about imagineIS. We're here to help and we don't want you struggling. Okay, so today's agenda. We have some discovery enhancements. We have some enhancements to essential help. We have enhancements with the outcome. There's the fetch process does have some, it did have a fix that was put in this past week, and the fix agreements workflow process is now accessible to everyone, which is pretty cool, and I'll explain that as we go through it. Give you a little helpful hints on the browser find that might be good for you, and also a little teaser about what is coming soon to imagineIS. All right, so let's jump into the discovery enhancements. So in discovery, in the Path to Community Employment module, the field felt safe has been removed from the work history grid. This was at the request of the counties during one of our past focus groups. So you asked and we delivered. So I'll show you that as we get in. Once I get through the discovery section, I'll go ahead and jump into the system and show you those enhancements, and I'll do that for each of the various areas. All right, so the next one is work transportation. There's a new subgrid for work transportation information that was added to the Path to Community Employment module, and I'll show you that as well. And while I'm doing that, in the quick create box, the text boxes have been increased in size. The developers have been working to make it more easily enterable, to either type in information or to copy and paste information, so you're seeing it all at once rather than having to scroll through the text box. And that should help you out quite a bit. So with that, let's jump into the system. I want to go in as an SSA, and I'm in Warren Weber's page, and we're going to go to Discovery Management. I'm going to go through with the Business Process tab. All right, let's go to Path to Community Employment. And we're going to expand the results section. And we have the work history subgrid that no longer has the felt safe field. So not a whole lot to show there because, well, it's just gone. so there you go. The felt safe has been removed per request. So while we're here, let's just scroll down and you see the new subgrid, work transportation. And that includes the fields backup plan, how arranged, and support needed. Okay, so I was talking about the expanded quick create text box. So in order to see that, you just hit the plus sign to add a new record, just like all the other modules in Discovery. And if you notice, these boxes have gotten much, much larger. Let's see. Oops. If I can type today. There we go. Okay. So you can type in as much as you want, or what I like to do is a lot of copy and pasting. So you can see you can put many rows of information in here. I think it used to be maybe 2, 3 rows, 4 at the most. Then you'd have to kind of scroll through it to see what you typed or copy and pasted. So that's all there is to that increased space. Now, some of the modules have already, if you go back in and you want to look, you see that you have a large viewing area for the quick create box. However, not all the modules have increased in size for the viewing process, but they are currently working on that. So hopefully within the next release or two, that all the boxes will have expanded in size so you can see all that information in one view. All right, so that is the discovery enhancements. Are there any questions about the discovery enhancements?
I'm not seeing any hands up or any questions up to this point.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, let me know. I know the discovery enhancements were pretty straightforward, so you may not have questions there, but as we go along, you might, so please feel free to ask. So we want to go ahead and move to the essential health, which they're pretty straightforward as well. The first essential health enhancement is there was another request that came out of one of our focus groups as to add a new activity type of other in the health-related activities section of Essential Health. So I'll show you that and how to get to that and how to pull that activity type up. And then the other is also a new item. We have a new dosage field. When you're adding the medication, you have the option to add dosage information in its own field. So that's kind of handy. And so let's take a look at that. Go in the system. I'm going to go into Essential Health. Now I could go into Quick Nav Essential Health, or I can go up here and go to the Essential Health menu item tile. I like using that because I think it might be one less click than going through the Quick Nav. Sometimes Quick Nav is quicker than other ways, but in this to get to Essential Health, it's a little bit quicker for me, and I just like it. So we all have our preferences. Okay, so we're in Essential Health right now. Want to go down to health-related information. Let's see. I'm going to go on the Forms Sections icon, and I'm going to click Health-Related Activities. And what this will do, this will go down the page automatically and open it up all in one shot. And there we go. We've got health-related activities. I'm going to show you that new activity type. I'm going to hit the plus sign. And we have the activity type field. Just click in there. And if you notice, they are in alphabetical order. So other falls right here with the O's. So there's the new activity type that you requested. That's all there is to get to that. All right, so let's go down to medications. I'll show you that new dosage field. So we have active medications. You can just click the plus sign to add a new medication, and you'll see that the dosage field is there. Right there, dosage. So you can put dosage information. Now notice that it does not have a red asterisk next to it. So it's not a required field. So use it as you would like. And we found that in the past, people would put dosage information possibly in the medication name or in the other reason field. But now you don't have to do that. You have a specific field dedicated just for that. All right. So that would be the essential health enhancements for this month. Do I have any questions on those? Let me go back to the PowerPoint while you're thinking of those questions.
So far, no questions that I can see.
All right. Pull this back up here. All right. So again, if you do have any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. And we're going into the outcome enhancements, which are a little more involved than the discovery and essential health. So definitely going to jump into the system to show you what I'm talking about as I explain these. So please stop me at any time. Okay, so on the outcome page, there's a section that lists the learning logs tied to the individual. In the past, they weren't listed in a chronological order, which made it difficult to see most of the recent records. But now, as of last Thursday, they're sorted by date in descending order, so you can easily see the most recently added logs at the top of the list. So that's a nice one. All right, now we're going to jump a little bit deeper. Let's talk about outcome completion dates. We now have a new manual completion date tied to the outcome. And we've always had the projected completion date, but as you know, sometimes the individual completes their outcome before that date, right? Well, it used to be that when the outcome was completed early, the projected completion date would change to reflect the new date, but you'd lose the old one. You lose the old date. And you might want to keep that information, especially, shows that maybe the team worked really hard to help the individual complete their outcome early, and you don't want to lose that information. So now the SSA can phase the outcome to complete manually, and it will save the new completion date and keep the projected completion date what it was originally. So when we get into the system, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And if you're a little bit lost, that's okay, because I'm going to actually do it, and you'll see it happen right in the system live. Okay, so also with completion dates. Currently, when an SSA needs to extend the completion date of an outcome, they select yes in the extend outcomes projected completion date section of the outcome. And this will send an alert to the supervisor. I think it used to be a notification, but they were getting so many notifications, there's a request, I believe, to have it become an alert. So now it'll create an alert to the supervisor. So in the past, the supervisor would get that alert, they'd answer a couple of questions, and then update the completion date for the SSA. But they may not always know what that date is, or they may just want to let the SSA choose the date because they've been working with the individual. Well, now there's an additional field that is allow SSA to modify dates. And if they click yes and save that, the SSA can go into the outcome and modify not just the completion date, but also they could modify the start date as well. All right, so let's go in and let me show you what we're talking about here. All right. Let me go to the outcome section. So my laptop froze up a little bit here. Do we have any questions at the moment?
So far, no questions.
All right. I've got something flashing over here, and I just want to make sure that.
I had a question. Just flash for a little bit, and then it went away.
Now we're checking to see if there's any questions there. Don't want to miss anybody. The MiFi in the room, or the Wi-Fi, I guess, is causing me a little bit of trouble. So we're letting it load. I'm just going to go out here. Let's go out and go back in.
My Wi-Fi signal strength dropped a little bit.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm glad to see it's not just me. Not the only one in the room struggling with the Wi-Fi. I'm going to go back in as the SFA. Michael's making fun of my login name. I didn't choose it. The system chose it for me. All right.
I still think mine is the best.
Stubshy?
Yep.
Yes. All right, I'm going to go back into the training environment. Go back into Warren's front page. I call him Warren, but I think if you notice, most people know Warren is Potsy Weber. Okay. All right. Go to Outcomes. Let's go to the vacation outcome. All right, and down to learning logs to show you the new sort order. So if you can see that the most recent learning log is on the top. So it's simple change, but it can be pretty handy. All right. So I want to go to another outcome because I want to complete it. And I don't want to complete my vacation outcome yet because I haven't gone on vacation. So let's go to become an actor. All right, so if you notice, there is nothing in the manual completion date field yet. The projected completion date is 11/30/2019. So let's go back and complete this and see what happens. All right, so I'm just going to phase this to complete. Oh, I have one of the dates in here. All right. You throw it in the date of review. Notice it says unsaved changes at the bottom, so I'll go ahead and save. And this will set the outcome record to complete. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. The outcome has been moved to the next stage successfully. And the page will reload automatically. And it shows completed. So let's go in to Become an Actor outcome. And we have a manual completion date of 2/25/2019. And it still has retained the projected completion date of 11/30/2019. So that's exactly what we're looking for, and exactly what has been requested, because people didn't want to lose that information. All right, perfect. Let me show you the other outcome enhancement. I'm going to go into the vacation outcome to show you that. All right. Okay, so as the SSA here, let's make a request to extend the outcome's projected completion date. We do that by going to the Extend Outcomes Projected Completion Date section and make that a yes. And go ahead and save. I could have saved up here as well. Okay, so that should have sent an alert to our supervisor. Let me refresh the supervisor's page. Hopefully we haven't lost connection for the supervisor with the Wi-Fi issues. And it's looking like it may have kicked out the supervisor as well when we had that glitch a little while ago. Yeah, it's going blank. Yep. Let me log right back in with the supervisor. I'm sure I log out of every page so it lets me back in without any issues. Okay, I'm going to use Edge for this one. I was in Chrome before for the SSA. Now I'm going to go in as Edge. And I've been testing both Chrome and Edge, and it seems to work really well with both. So feel free to use either browser. In my Richie Do. Alrighty, loading accounts. Let's go in to my supervisor. Where are you? There we go. Do we have a question?
Looks like it started out to be on, but I guess not. Looks like we had one, but no, I didn't see it.
All right, so let's load up the supervisor's dashboard. So like I said, this used to be a notification, and now is an alert. So let's go down to the alerts. And there we go. We have the Extend Outcomes Projected Completion Date alert that was triggered off by the SSA, putting yes in that field and saving. And now I could go in and click on the subject to the alert. That'll take me to the alert page, and then from there I can get into the outcome. But I already know what I need to do. So to make it one less step, I'm just going to click on the name of the outcome itself and go directly to the outcome. It'll pull up the outcome, and then so we've got the 2 fields that we want to say yes to, and then have the option of saying yes, that we want the SSA to be able to change those dates. So we have the verification by SSA supervisor for extending outcome completion date. And the first question, action plan for outcome was completed by SSA. Yes. Learning log updated and reviewed by SSA. Of course. And here, allow SSA to modify dates. As a supervisor in this situation, I just don't know what the date should be, and I know my SSA does, so I'm going to allow the SSA to put in that new date for me. Go ahead and save those changes. Now, I could have also changed the date myself, but again, I'm going to allow the SSA to do that. Now, let me go back as the SSA. And I'm going to change this projected completion date. I know vacation is set up for July, so I'm going to make that completion date July 31st. And go ahead and save it. Oh, let me, should have refreshed that. One additional note I would like to mention that if the outcome is already completed, the supervisor will have to at least change the date to today or tomorrow and save it. So then at that point, it'll make the outcome active again. And then at that point, the SSA can go in and put in whatever date they need to. Just have to make sure you do that. All right, awesome. So it allowed, just needed to refresh the page there, and so it picked up the information that I was, as the SSA, allowed to change those dates. So that worked perfectly. And it allowed me to go ahead and change the date and close the outcome. All right. So any questions about the outcome enhancements? I know those are a little more involved in the essential health and the discovery. So please feel free to ask any questions. Nothing, Michael?
So far, no questions.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. Stop me if you think of something. Okay. So here's a few miscellaneous items. The fetch process, it has this really cool feature that when you click the fetch button and it pulls in all that information from MSS, it also will add the providers to the contacts of the individual. It'll connect them, and then the only thing the SSA has to do is go into the provider in contacts and make them an assigned team member. It'll show up as a contributing team member, and they just need to make them assigned, so they'll be able to get into the portal and sign the ISP.
I think we do have a question.
Oh, what's the question?
I don't know, went away. It did go away. There was a question there. This one, that notification. Okay, looks like they will see. Will the SSA receive an alert or a notification when the supervisor approves date change for an outcome?
At this point, no, mainly because we've got so many alerts, notifications, and tasks that counties are frustrated by the volume, so we didn't want to add another one. We're going through the list of the alerts, notifications, and tasks, and we'll be reaching out to the counties to see if we can clean up some more of these and remove some additional ones. The last time we did that, we weren't very successful. We didn't have that many removed, but we're hoping maybe with this go round, we might be able to trim it some more. So that's part of the main reason why we didn't add another notification for that piece.
That was Mr. Andrews Igo asking that question for us.
All right, awesome question, Andy. All right, so back to the fetch process. You're welcome. I mentioned how the fetch connects the provider and puts them under contacts, and then the SSA goes in to make them an assigned team member. Well, what we found was happening that if they were already connected, if the provider was already connected to that individual, when you did the fetch, they would add a duplicate record of that provider under contacts. So that has been fixed, and now that the fetch process will first check to see if the provider is already there, and if they're already there, it won't do anything. But if they aren't there, then they'll go ahead and add them, so you won't get any more duplicate providers. All right. Okay, now the fixed agreements. I like this one a lot. Every now and again, you may have found that a guardian or an individual or provider is missing on the ISP grid. So because of that, they wouldn't have a signature line on the ISP. And when this has happened in the past, you've needed to contact DODD or have a ticket created. And then somebody here at DODD that had admin access would go in and run the fixed agreements workflow. Well, now you have the power and the access to run the fixed agreements workflow, and it's really easy. And well, let's just show you. Let's show you how to do it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, let's go in as the SSA. I'm going to go into the ISP page. First, go back here. ISP management. Open the ISP. It's currently phased to pending agreements. All right, so say you do have an individual or guardian or provider that's missing. All you need to do is go up to the ellipsis up here in the command ribbon. And you have the Fix Agreements button. Now, I don't know if anybody has tried to do that already. I have, and I was one of those people that was like, I got excited, oh, there's a Fix Agreements button, and I'm going to click on it, and nothing happened because I didn't have admin access. And if you tried it, same thing would have happened. Nothing would have happened because you didn't have admin access. However, you now have, you don't have admin access, and neither do I, but you do have the power to run the Fix Agreements workflow. And all it is, you just click on that. So this will create the missing agreement tracking records. Are you sure? Well, yes, I'm sure, because that's why I clicked on it, and hit OK to continue. And that's all there is to it. Now you'd want to refresh the page and verify that those, you know, whether it's a provider or individual or guardian, whoever, is now there. But that's all there is to it. It's a pretty simple process, and you now have the power. So enjoy. And with great power comes great responsibility. So I'm sure you'll be fine. Okay. All right, so while I'm in here, let me show you, let me go to Discovery. I'm going to show you the next thing on the list. It may be helpful. I know some people, counties have mentioned that if they're simply wanting to change a word or a short piece of text or a name on an individual's plan, it can sometimes be difficult to find that information in the system or on the plan. So we found there are ways that things that you can use to help with that. So first, if you have the plan already as a PDF, let me open up a PDF plan. Adobe has a find function. So you just click on the find function in Adobe and let's see, search for Cunningham. Click next, and it'll go through all the instances of whatever you happen to be searching for throughout the plan. So that's kind of nice that you can easily find that information in the plan, but you know, say, okay, well, but I want to find that information in the system. So let's go back to the SSA in Imagine, and let's go to Path Community Employment. Now, the one thing with doing a search in the system, you're searching for the page that happens to be open. So it's not going to be searching the entire system at a time. But you'll want to go to the page that you're wanting to look for. Say you know that it's in Path Community Employment, you're just not sure where. You want to open up all the subsections. And then you want to go to the browser search. Now, I'm not talking about the search, the imagineIS search. I'm talking about well, my go-to is covered that. There we go. I'll find it. I was trying to hide it. Okay, so here is the commands for the browser, and this is Chrome, but other browsers have the same kind of function. And I'm going to go to Find, and I'm going to search. Try Cunningham again. And it highlights it on the page. And it looks like we have 2 instances of Cunningham in Path Community Employment module. And it shows you, and you can just go back and forth and change that information as need be. So, you know, I think that'll be helpful. I hope it'll be helpful. Not perfect solution yet, but we're working on getting an even better way for you to do that. But in the meantime, you can use that Adobe find function or whatever browser you happen to be using, the find function in there as well. And that's already built into everybody's browser. All right, go back to our PowerPoint. Talked about the browser find function. Coming soon. Now, it's just a little teaser or something. Our developers are currently working on updating the ISP phasing structure to reflect the new simplified phases that we already have for our other modules. Just simply moving the ISP from draft to share to include on ISP, just like you would Discovery or, you know. So it's very simple, and it'll be nice to have all the phasing throughout the system to be consistent now. And they're working on that, thinking maybe the next release or the release after that.
We're going to start testing it, I think this week. Awesome. So depending on how testing goes, pushing it as soon as we get the okay that we pass all the tests.
Cool. All right. So any questions about those that last group of enhancements, or anything that I talked about today? Or why it was so windy yesterday? Any questions? Oh, good, because I'm not a meteorologist and I have no idea why it was so windy yesterday. All right. Well, if you think of something after the webinar is over, please feel free to reach out to us. Here's our email addresses, phone numbers. Please, anytime, just call us, email, and we'll do what we can to help you. We don't want you struggling out there, so contact us. That's what we're here for. It's what we want to do. Now, if you'd like us to come to your county for training or simply to get your plans into the system, answer questions, work with your providers, train your providers, whatever you need, you can contact our project manager, Heather Stubbs. She would love to get you on the schedule, and we would love to follow up and come to your county. So don't hesitate to do that. Well, that is the end. So if you don't have any other questions, last chance. Nothing. Okay. Well, I hope you have a good afternoon, a good week. And again, let us know if you need anything. Thank you.